I'm Dylan.
I'm Sam, and today, because we're still in social isolation, I'm going to read Dylan a ghost story.
Ooh.
Now, the stories I'm going to be reading are from Haunted Indiana: Ghost and Strange Phenomena of the Hoosier State by James A. Willis. I've read this book a couple times. I like it. I've picked a couple options of stories, and Dylan's just gonna listen. All right.
Go ahead.
To start off, we have The Ghostly Children of Hetty Hollow.
Sounds like a porno.
It's children. I don't know about you, but of all the different types of ghosts out there, the ones that creep me out the most are those of children. Maybe it's the whole idea that children are supposed to represent innocence, not sadness and internal unrest. Or maybe I was scared at an early age by too many late-night viewings of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Either way, I made sure that when I was putting this book together, I didn't linger too long in the area in Fishers known as Hetty Hollow. That's because it's supposed to be haunted, not by just one ghostly child, but by a whole slew of them. Are you scared yet?
No.
Do ghostly children scare you?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Ghostly children are probably the same as regular ghosts, I guess.
If I say you want to punt it.
They're ghosts. You can't punt things.
Sure you can.
Have you ever punted a ghost?
You just punt the air and just assume you kicked it. Get away from me. Get away. Get away.
I don't know if they'll really do anything, though. Anyway.
Here's Grace. Let's find out.
Hetty Hollow, named after the Hetty family, who once lived in the area, lies near the intersection of Allisonville Road and East 126th Street. Today, it's a wooded area, but as the story goes, back in the 1800s, the Hetty family ran a schoolhouse there. One day, a fire broke out in the school, destroying the entire building. Several children were also killed in the blaze. After their funerals, their tiny bodies were all laid to rest in Hetty Cemetery, which sits roughly a mile from the Hollow. Are you scared now?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, it's actually kind of sad.
I know. It sounds depressing.
It's really just depressing.
Oh, are you scared? No, but I'm sad.
Today, it is said that on certain nights, the ghosts of the children killed in the fire rise up from their graves and gather at the main entrance to the cemetery. They stand silent for a while, as if they are waiting to ensure all are present and accounted for. Then they walk en masse down the street to Hetty Hollow, the scene of their demise. Once they arrive at the Hollow, they again stand silent and then simply vanish.
You know what I just realized?
What?
This would be really weird if our neighbors walk past and I'm going like this, like a little kid.
Well, it's good that we have like a fence.
And you're reading me a bedtime story.
You know, I really should start reading these to you as a bedtime story.
No.
Would you sleep?
Or I stay awake in fear.
Probably. Historians are quick to point out that while there was indeed a Hetty family who lived in the area, there are no records indicating that a school ever stood in Hetty Hollow. Apparently, that has not stopped the ghost from congregating there. Whoa, ha, ha, ha. Ooh. So that was story number 1. So that was story number 1. Are you scared?
that was my scare.
Oh, that was
my was
Speaking of demons, as if
the friendliest ghost you know.
As if you needed a reason to stay away from Dog Face Bridge.
Hold on. Dog Face Bridge. So this bridge has like a face of a dog.
No, there's a spirit called the Dog Face.
Keep reading.
Alright. When walking down the dirt trail outside the woods at the end of South County Road 1100 West, just outside of San Pierre, it's hard to believe that you are treading on what used to be a road and that 2 bridges used to stand here. The first bridge is still visible in the underbrush, but the second is all but gone now. It's at this second bridge that people are said to have encountered one of the strangest beings in all of Indiana, if not the United States. What is it? A ghost? A monster? Well, whatever it is, one thing is for certain. If you see it, you better get out of its way. The story that gave birth to this creature begins in the 1950s, with a young woman driving down South County Road 1100 West, alone at night. The woman makes it across the first bridge without incident. But just as she is preparing to cross the second bridge, a large dog runs out into the road. The woman swerves in a vain attempt to miss the dog, causing her to lose control of the car and crash into the side of the bridge. The woman and the dog are both killed instantly. Scared?
This is kind of creepy.
It must have been a horrible wreck, for when rescue workers arrived, they found that both the woman and the dog had been decapitated. Worse, the woman's body and the dog's head were missing. They were never recovered. Late night visitors to the bridges have stated that as soon as they cross over the first bridge, they are immediately overcome with the feeling that they are not alone. Those brave enough to continue down the path report hearing strange growling noises coming from the woods around them and seeing glowing eyes peering back at them. Dog-like whines and cries are also commonly heard, but that is nothing compared to what awaits you at the second bridge. It is said that upon reaching the remains of the second bridge, you will be confronted by the hideous sight of a creature with the head of a dog and the body of a woman. Needless to say, this beast is never in the best of moods, and if it sees you, it will let out a shriek and come at you. At this point, it would be best if you beat a hasty retreat back to your car, because if it manages to catch you, you can be fairly certain that it's not going to be pretty. What you think?
Well, that's a little creepy, but trying to picture, I mean, I think I've seen this thing before.
Really?
So, one of the stories in Buffalo Ridge was if you see a dog with green eyes and it comes out, it'll start growling at you and it looks like a demon. And I think me and the guys seen it. But not that, but...
Yeah, because I don't think you were, you haven't been to that area of Indiana, I don't think.
I'm gonna go and see if we can see
I want to go, you know what? After all this is over,
we should go and see if we can see the thing.
I think we need to go all over Indiana and ghost hunt. Because I've gone all over Ohio. I've never gone all over Indiana. Would you want to do it?
Let's do it.
Like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want us to do that. Alright, our last story. The smell of death at Hannah House.
sounds like a party gone wrong.
The smell... Okay, do parties smell like death?
No, I don't know.
You've been to more parties than I have.
They don't smell like death unless now they do because everyone's doing drugs and...
Okay, when Alexander Hanna began funding the construction of his Madison Avenue dream home on the south side of Indianapolis, he was looking for a place to live. It ended up serving a much bigger purpose, part of which might have led to the hauntings of the home that continue to this day. Completed in 1858, the house soon became a stop on the Underground Railroad, harboring escaped slaves on their way to Canada. The secretive nature of the organization meant few records were kept, so there is no way of telling how many refugees Hanna helped or where they were hidden. It is believed, however, that most were hidden away in the basement. One night in the basement, according to one story, one of the escaped slaves accidentally knocked over a lantern. Soon, a large part of the basement was on fire, and as the flames spread, some of the refugees began to burn. Hanna and the other slaves managed to contain the fire before it spread to the rest of the house, but they were unable to save the lives of the burn victims. Legend has it that the victims were secretly buried in the basement of the house. Hanna, a prominent figure in Indiana history, originally built the house for himself, his staff. But at age 51, he married Elizabeth Jackson, and another wing was added on for the servants. Hanna and Elizabeth remained in Hanna House until the late 1890s, at which point it was sold off. There is no evidence that the Hannas experienced anything paranormal inside the house. The next owners, however, quickly became convinced there was something weird going on in the basement. Not knowing that escaped slaves were allegedly buried down there, the new family dismissed the strange noises as normal sounds that old houses make. The one thing they couldn't ignore was the overpowering odor of what could only be described as death that would waft through the house. Wouldn't that just suck, though? I mean, like, yeah, I've always been like, hey, it would be kind of chill to live in, like, a haunted house. I mean, we live next to a cemetery, and we've got plenty of knocks and bumps and all kinds of fun stuff going on. But, like, wouldn't it suck if it smelled?
Yeah.
Like, you just walk, you know, you found your dream house, it's gorgeous, but it smells like someone died.
Yeah.
It would just suck. Eventually, word leaked out about the bodies that might be in the basement. Suddenly, it all came together and made sense. Interestingly enough, once people began talking openly about what happened in the basement, the smell of death began to dissipate, and then went away altogether. Of course, there was still the occasional odd noise or groaning that emanated from the basement, but overall, things calmed down considerably. Maybe that's why the Hannas decided to move back in, their ghosts that is. In the upstairs rooms, doors and windows began to open and close on their own. Chandeliers moved by themselves too. There was also what sounded like people talking in hushed tones. An older woman, believed to be Elizabeth Hanna, is also seen walking around on the top floors. As for Alexander Hanna, his ghost has been seen throughout the building, although he seems to prefer hanging out near the balcony area. So, I love this book. I think the stories are really good. The author seems very well educated in spirits and ghost lore and knows their geography very well. What do you think?
I think you tell a great story.
Aw, thanks, babe. Are you scared?
Hell no.
Damn it, I was trying. So if you want us to read some more ghost books while we are quarantined up in here, we would love to. So like and subscribe, let us know, and maybe we will.
I'm so scared.
Dylan's terrified.
I am so scared. I'm so scared. I'm just kidding.
Bye.